Okay, I'm gonna take it that the mic's working. We'll find out in a minute. I just want to say it's showing up. Faith is showing up. Ginger Snap is showing up. So this may be people I've liked. Because Ginger Snap, unless she's changed, she's a small. Well, she's better than me, but she's like a smaller streamer like me, and she's got something about a bonsai tree, and she goes Lego streams return on 1st of March. Um, mic check, mic check, mic check. Okay, it's working. What I'm doing is I'm finishing up. I'm finishing up here on. I'm running my farm. I don't know if I'm gonna build anything, but I'm gonna scout out the area. Hopefully I can do that. If I run into problems with mobs, I'll just come back here and relaunch this. But I went down and I took the trident out of the bottom one, and because I lost one. At least I haven't found it yet. I lost one before, but it fell down below. So I was able to get it, and then I wasn't worried. I haven't lost this one yet. It fell out, and it landed there, and we're good. The thing we're talking about today, it's a show called Forbidden History, and they had one. Now this is one my brother was watching, and I caught part of it while I was eating or cooking or something, and it's a long story, but he does like if I watch something regularly, unless something comes up and I have to leave, in which case I'm leaving, or I have to go cook or go to the bathroom, so I'm watching it. He doesn't do it all the time, but he does it occasionally where he watches part of an episode, and then his TV, he's got it set up to all these things are on automatic, and I'll be watching something, and it's his TV. He can do whatever he wants. I'm not complaining about that. It's just he'll be watching something, and it happens almost every day, and you'll be like 5-10 minutes before the end of the show, whether it's a documentary or a show, it'll change. It'll go to something else. Like, well, what the fuck? Again, if it was once in a while, it wouldn't bother me. But it's like it happens all the time, and it's like, okay, whatever. And I want to start this out. This guy, he's kind of a conspiracy nut, and I don't necessarily mean it in a bad way. I really don't. I don't put a lot of faith into what he says. Well, at the end of the episode, and I didn't have it in my notes, but I figured I'd start out with it. At the end of the episode, he was talking about the Vatican's. One of these days, they're gonna have a leaker like Edward Snowden, and it's gonna be over. That I would rather see a leaker like Reality Winner. Someone who is going to be conscious of what she's doing, and she's going to leak when absolutely necessary. It's kind of like, oh God, she was that girl that was chief of staff for Mark Meadows, Cassidy Hutchinson, I think is her name. She was one who came forward, and she didn't come forward after her book deal launched. She came forward. Not during any of the impeachments. She might not have been working for him then, but she came forward when January 6th committee was looking for people, and she was very, very good. But she, and she said when she came forward, it was something she said, I think, when they had her before them, that she didn't come forward right away, and she probably wouldn't have had as good of information if she had. But like in the end, she was sorry. She like saw this, and she's like, she couldn't believe that there weren't more people higher up, more important, like congressmen, like senior staffers, like Mark Meadows, and anybody anybody who was on uh, anybody in Trump's cabinet, sub cabinet. So she came forward because she didn't see anybody else stepping up to do the right thing. And that's the thing I would say here. Like Edward Snowden, I could maybe view him a little bit more like Elizabeth or Reality Winner if he had done the right thing. As far as I'm concerned, he's a fucking traitor, and if he comes back, he should be put on trial and he should be prosecuted because he came forward and released everything. He could have just released the stuff that was harmful to us. He released. He not only released the stuff that they were doing wrong, where they had these secrets that were being taken from people's phones, and it was illegal. It was absolutely illegal when the story finally broke. But he released stuff that we were legally doing, spying on other countries. And that's in, and again, I don't consider this stuff political. I don't consider national security. I don't consider border security. I don't consider facts political. But like he released, it was like the Valerie Plame thing that Bush did. They outed her. Well, they noticed a significant drop in intel on Iran when they outed her. That hurt America. It was, they were really mad that somebody told the truth on them, so they fucked up our national security. I gotta tell you, I was a really, really big homophobic person back in high school, and I said and acted and I still have that. I'm trying to get better, but I still do it. And that's that's why I don't consider myself a good person. I really do. I do not. And but the I this is the new. I've kind of redone my turtle farm. I've got it working. I just it takes up a lot of time, but I've got it to where I've got 4 breeders. I've got this, and this here is the newest edition. I just duplicated what I had, populated it. But here, I can lead the turtles in here, and then they will collect. It's not perfect, but it's kind of a low tech one. I can make a better one, but I don't have the time. I don't. This took a lot. I've got my raid farm. It's partially finished, but I at least got a turtle hat. There's my turtle hat. So I got that now, and but if he wouldn't have outed us for the stuff we were doing as a matter of national security, if he'd have been a little bit less like Bush and Cheney and Rumsfeld, or not Rumsfeld, Rove, and the only one that really went to jail for it was Scooter Libby. I wonder, he didn't even go to. I don't think he either didn't go to prison, or I think Bush commuted his sentence. But you can imagine if he'd gotten to prison, everybody would have wanted to ride the new scooter, and but that's a work in progress. But what I want to do is, and I was gonna bring it over here, but I think I might send it. Yeah, because I think that's too close. I think it might cause problems. I need to send this somewhere far away. What I want to do is I want a place that I can send like the stuff from here. I might just scrap it. I at least want the ability to do it, but I want something that I can dump. That I can dump the metal and I can send it to melt. And this might not happen, but the theory that the way I'm thinking now, I will send it over to either there or I will send it over here, and I will build. I'll just do a bamboo farm to feed the furnace, and the other thing I want to do is I want to build. I'll take you over and show you real quick. Um, it's I got one at the main base right now, but and I want to improve this. I'm starting to feel a little better. For the longest time I was just not feeling it. This I haven't worked on since I got affected or whatever the hell it was. But I want one of these, and I'll build it over there, and then I can use lava and bamboo to feed the farm. And then it really shouldn't be that big of a deal. I just gotta. So I want to build. I'm not gonna probably build it, but I'm kind of trying to view and think about it. But it's gonna be one of those two. But that one, I really like where it's at, but I don't think it's gonna be far enough because I'm gonna have villagers there, and I don't want the villagers to attract the Vex. And I don't want the villagers to screw up the farm or the raid farm and extend the radius of where the raid farm's going to be. Now these villagers down here are not affecting it, so if I go that far away, I should be okay. And at least this far away, the beds don't seem to be affecting because I've got a bed over there a little bit, and but yeah, that and anyways, this I was a big homophobe. I didn't know any gay people, and I'm a bad person. I'm freely admit I'm a really bad person. But the thing that woke me up, and I was like this till the Bush administration. I was in my 30s when I got cured. But it finally dawned on me in the Bush administration when they fired that guy for being gay. He was in the military. He was a translator, and he understood the languages almost natively. So he was the best translator we had. And I think he was an American. He just happened to be gay. He was in the military. And they fired him. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. If they'd have said, hey, you can't be in the military, but we're going to give you a job in the CIA or the FBI, you're going to be making 10 times your salary. You're going to work in the same place. You just won't have to wear a uniform anymore. You can wear sweats or whatever. I would have probably been okay with it. But when that happened, it dawned on me we're less safe. We're less safe because of this. My childish behavior makes us less safe. This idiotic religious behavior of other people makes us less safe. And it's like we can't afford this anymore. We just can't. We got to grow up. But yeah, that's going to be my cross to bear. That's why I just don't really consider myself a good person. I know what I've done, and I'm not gonna try and move on or make up stories or make up excuses. But but it made us less safe. Okay, now this is on the Science Channel on Dish. It's Forbidden History: Secrets of the Vatican Archives, and yeah, I covered that guy saying that stupid thing about Snowden. Uh, on the Science Channel, scandal has rocked the Vatican in recent decades, and I think I did another show on this. Uh, the bank scandal, the child rape scandal, and the Pope Notzinger and his second Cardinal Bertroni or something like that. These are all like modern day ones. They had the banking scandal, and I said that. Hidden in the Vatican are many things, allegedly things that would rewrite history. I will skip over the stuff about the banking scandal and the child raping scandal because I don't even know if I really. I know that I did the banking one a little bit in the previous podcast I did. Check the show out if you want to learn more. See if you can. This one here, kind of, I found it on the Dish Network app, but um, Tubi has this. I think there's one other channel. I watch it on Tubi. That's what I've been doing is watching on Tubi. Uh, they and it's on. Oh shit! I'm gonna. Oh no 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 no! I'm gonna kill that because I do not want this getting fucked up. This is not made raid proof. I don't think I had. I don't think I had a raid. I went up and it should have. This should have been voided. I'm gonna call that a. I'm calling that a glitch because that's the way I'm doing things. If the game fucks up, I'm not paying for their fucking mistake. But and maybe I'm wrong, but I swear when I was up there, it was the raid ended. I think I went up, so if I had any, and I think I've taken out the trident and stopped it from summoning new raids. But that fucking thing, I shouldn't have had. I shouldn't have had a. I don't think I showed one, but I shouldn't have. You guys can look in there. Maybe I fucked up. If I fucked up, let me know in there. But I did not see a raid, a bad omen in there. And that I've had that problem before, where you would have a bad omen, but it wasn't showing. But you can go back and look. If I fucked up, please let me know on when this finally gets up on YouTube. But oh my God. Uh, Yeah, maybe I won't send it down there because if I go, well, it'll summon a raid if I got the villagers in there because I basically want to make it with the smelter, which so it'll cook them faster, and I want to put two villagers. Maybe I'll put it there and I'll move the village away. But yeah, because if I have a village either way, it's gonna be bad. Uh, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. Uh, yeah, maybe I will put it. Maybe I'll dig all that up. It's gonna take a while, but I'll dig all that up, and I might even put it up there a little bit. But I'll put it as far away as that is, or maybe a little closer. And then if it fucks it up, I'll know I have to move it. I'll start figuring out what the range is on that. But but what they said in there, they said a Reverend Gabriella. I could not make out his last name. He stated the devil was in the Vatican. And I take these stories as is. If they're lying to me, I'm lying to you, but I'm not doing it on purpose. They don't give a year, and I can't understand his last name, so it's impossible for me or you to go and verify the quote. But it might be Gabriella Amorth, Amorth. I don't know if it's him, but that might be. It might be Reverend Gabriella Amorth, also known as the Pope's Exorcist. And I recently was able to watch. It was like a couple months. It might have been. Yeah, it was last year sometime. But I was able to watch the Pope's Exorcist on Netflix. I believe it was made by Netflix, so you're gonna probably have to be on there. I don't know how accurate it is. I really don't know how accurate it is. I don't know if it's accurate like some things on Eisenhower or Truman, or if it's more like uh, Chris Kyle, where it's just total fucking shit. And I don't mean that in a bad way. To the either the director or the producer of the movie was asked if it was accurate, and he goes, "Well, I think I made a movie that he would have liked to watch." And so I'm taking it didn't have anything to do with reality, and that's fine. At least he was honest about it. But like even as we talk about it, that book was just a fucking. I don't trust any of it because he lied about his medals. He lied about his kill book, his recorded tills or his and sniper, they're the confirmed kills. That's the word. With a sniper, his confirmed kills are always going to be off from what his actual kills are because if they're any good, and I understand he was good at his job. He was just a piece of shit in life. But if you're killing people for a living, that's understandable. But if you're a good sniper, and my understanding is he was very good at what we spent millions of dollars training him to do. Most of your shots, they're not in places where you're going to go confirm it. But he lied about it, and he lied about he basically listed every medal he was ever up for, whether he was actually awarded it or not. And he came back, and my understanding is he came up, hey, my cat is the only one that gets to interrupt my fucking, and she doesn't. She's very polite, but she's the only one who gets to come in and do that. You wanna be a fucking video whore? You go find somebody else's stream doing fade. Uh, but he lied about Jesse Ventura as far as I can tell, I mean, yeah, he got reversed on a technicality, but it really looks like he fucking went into court. But again, they it was overturned, and I don't think Jesse pursued it. But he came back and he ruined Jesse's fucking career. It took a hiccup, and he was like an old guy. He's like 70, 60, 70 years old. And he's like, man, I'm on blood pressure. I'm on blood thinners. If he'd have fucking hit me, he goes, my face would have been affected for days, maybe weeks from the bruising because of his blood thinners and shit. And so I just, whatever. But that it does appear it might be true. I'm interested in the mysterious deaths that have been around the Vatican and other things for the sake of this podcast. And I gotta say, I don't think they lied, but they really exaggerated in the. Well, I guess it wasn't. I watched part of this while I was either cooking or eating lunch or something like that, and but it didn't disappoint. But I thought there'd be more to it than when it was making up. I just saw a couple minutes of it here, and then I went, oh, I gotta watch that, and so I can do it because they were talking about pagan rituals. Well, they didn't go into it in as much detail as I would have liked. I didn't understand it, but they said something about even before it was built, Vatican City. There were brothels and bathhouses underneath it. Part of me is thinking of claims of hidden stuff under the U.S., crazy sounding stuff with no proof. Another part of me is thinking of the Roman Empire maybe used religion to further its empire. Rules for thee, but not for me. Because they're indicating, they were kind of implying that there were still bathhouses and brothels underneath the Vatican. They're still being used. That's what they implied. But and I don't really remember. It was in Ireland, and they did talk about it was a Mary Magdalene laundry, and it was a brothel that was being run by the Vatican. And oh, uh, they I don't I think that was a real thing. And you've got the kitty abuse thing that they were doing. And I go in. I think I go into this a little bit more, but that's what they started out doing there. They were talking about that. Um, our conspiracy nut is back. He can't believe they built it here. They owned land all over the world. That might be true now, but was it true back then? I don't know. But it is being built over old pagan sites. That sounds like it was confirmed. The buildings dedicated to Mithra and other sites. That's what I'm interested in, and I think I'll go into this a little bit. But Mithra, uh, Jesus wasn't the first Messiah that came forward. Mithra or Mithras was a previous Messiah, and I'll go into him a little bit more. But he's his story and others might be ones that were stolen and used on Jesus. The fact is, uh, all you have is the Bible to believe in the resurrection. And until they issue proof, you should just realistically think, well, if he was a real person, he died. You know, and oh, he came back 3 days later. Well, either that or the Romans fell asleep. Maybe someone gave him a fucking hand job or whatever, and they snuck the body out of there. Because the tomb was found empty. Well, a lot can happen. Maybe it took 3 days to sneak his body out of there. But without proof from a scientific thing, you got to keep an open mind that it might not be true. You can't rule it out. You can't rule it in. But extraordinary claims need extraordinary proof, and they don't really have any. Uh, Miles of space. This has been mentioned before. Miles of space make up the archives. Does it contain secrets of the Ark of the Covenant, raiding of Solomon Temple by the Templars, or Jesus' bloodline? We don't know. There's a lot of it. And then the way somebody was explaining, one of the things with the Vatican archive is there. I don't really know how to word it. I don't think the way they worded it was exactly 100% accurate. But if you watch Harry Potter, hope you do. Or if you watch Marvel, I hope you do. Really hope you watch Babylon 5. Uh, but you had the part where you had the library in Shanglun or whatever, where the little fucking Chinese city where Doctor Strange went to learn. Wait, that wasn't it. It was Kajmatal or something. I can't pronounce foreign language worth of shit. But there was like this library that he could go to get stuff. Well, you had this special section that was reserved for adults or whatever in Harry Potter. They were talking about an area. It's like an area in the Vatican archives You can get access to it, but it's not like a FOIA request. You have to know specifically what you're looking for. If you fuck up anything in the title, they're just going to come back and tell you, like, well, at least with with the FOIA request, my understanding is you can do searches. Like you can do for anything UFO related or whatnot and search. This here, if you don't specifically say, it sounds like, and I don't know, I'm not an expert. They probably wouldn't give me access because I'm not an academic or anything like that. But and I'm not bitter about that. But they, but if you don't know exactly what you're looking for, you don't get it. Some accuse the church of harboring satanic worshippers, black magics, and doing black magic ceremonies and relics underneath the Vatican. I think it's more with the Old Testament and with older than in the New Testament, and so more or less the Jewish Bible, and with the older writings, with writings older than the Bible that have been banned or they're not included, but they're older. The copies we have are older. They talk about stuff such as a Solomon's ring that controlled demons or something similar, magic, I think, and it's possible that the rules for me and not for thee cover this also. I don't know. But think about it. If there were like if they had the ability, like if they had technology or magic or fucking God's will that allowed them to control demons, they wouldn't want anybody else to control that. They would want to control it. And same thing with Solomon's ring. I don't think they do. At least I don't think it works anymore. I think it's like in Doctor Who when they go when that one is like Tom Baker. It's the old classics. But they talked about this sash of Razalon or something like that, and it's supposed to protect the whoever's wearing it from like a black hole, Omega's fucking research and that. Well, they said since he got shot, it must not be working anymore. I think if they do have it, either the people that have it don't have the right genetic code, or God doesn't like them, or it's broken, or the demons aren't here. I'm spelling that demons and not demons because I can't remember what it was, but I think they called them jinn or something like that. When I heard them talking about it, video I watched talked about the God of Bible being one of many. I will do a podcast if I don't forget, but I watched it a little bit today, and it was talking about, like, again, older texts, maybe not in the Bible, but texts that are as old or older than the Bible. They talked about how he was of the Elom or Elim or something like that, and really, I've heard this said before that if you read the Bible, the Christian Bible, the Bible of the Jewish Old Testament, the Torah, and the Bible of the New Testament either seem like they were two separate people or they were fucking bipolar or something like that. They're schizophrenic. And I tend to agree, because when you read about the Bible, it's all about punishment and fear and that. And when you read the God in the New Testament, it's more like peace, love, and understanding. It doesn't sound like the same God. I'm just saying, that makes sense to me. Okay, now the conspiracy nut, and again, I'm letting you make up. If you guys can figure it out, you lay it out in YouTube. If you figure out who you think this conspiracy nut is, but he just made a valid point. If they have relics that are dangerous, why not just destroy them? If they keep them, they might not be dangerous. They just might be secret. It might be information that the Vatican does, and that's a valid point. It's one of the few things he says that doesn't sound fucking crazy, or you have to take a huge leap of faith to come to the conclusion. But on one hand, if you look at the Pope's exorcist or the Warrens, if evil really exists, and it might be more complex than what we know, but if there's, if there's creatures from another dimension, if there's demons that have to have God's ring to control, or jinn that have to have God's ring to control, well, the Warrens and the Pope's exorcist discussed it in that movie. It discussed a little bit more is said by the Warrens. It might have to be contained. If the object is destroyed, it might release something. That was the Warrens, because they had that. I don't know what happened to it. I don't. But they had that. They had that room in their house that was filled with all these relics from ghosts and hauntings that they had captured, and they said that if they destroyed them, because they were asked, they were like this guy, they didn't know, they were asked, well, why don't you just destroy them if these things are so dangerous? And they made the comment that, well, if they're destroyed, it breaks the vessel, and then you might be losing something on the world. And on the other hand, if this is some secret history, maybe misguided, they are keeping it until we are ready for the truth. Not all. I don't, because like this current Pope, I think he's a good guy. That one Pope, I think he was John Paul the First. He died in mysterious ways after he started investigating the bank. So I think like any other category, you can't view all as good or evil. They're like anything else. Like when I worked at GM, there were people that drank. Well, I honestly don't think, or the number of police that are pedophiles. I think it's in the national norm. But when you've got a place that employs like 3,000 people, it's kind of like the GOP does with shootings. They will look at New York and Chicago, and it's like fairly high shootings, but there are small towns down south that have a higher history of gun violence. But when you see in the paper that Chicago had 2,000 people killed, well, yeah, but when there's millions there, it's a smaller number. And then when you hear about bumfuck Texas or whatever, they got a town with like 300 people in it, and they had like 30 deaths. It seems like a small amount, but it's actually 10% of their population. And but when they it's misguided, but there might be good people in the Vatican that they're doing this for good reason. Maybe not, but it's a possibility. You got to keep an open mind. Or if it's from the future, maybe they have to wait until the time is right. And I'm thinking of the Vatican Fatima tapes. That one girl, she told them what the third message was, but she told them, you gotta wait until this year to release it. Well, then a priest, a pope, took it out a year early. So maybe he fucked everything up. Maybe we're just doomed, I mean, and again, I'm not taking a stance, but I'm saying, like, the person who got the message, she said, hey, you have to keep it secret until this time, and they honored it until a pope came by and, we got to see it a year early, and he might have fucked everything up. Because again, when you look at the Bible, when God tells you something, or one of his people tells you something, you should fucking listen to it. And again, I don't have a dog in the fight, but if you're someone who believes, well, that's a fucking major sin right there. Or it might be some part of some secret agenda. Or if it's tech or magic, maybe secret until they figure out what it is or how to control it. And then or it might be part of some secret pagan agenda. I don't know. The city, even part of the Vatican, is built on top of ancient pagan city from like over 2,000 years ago. And at the beginning of it, they didn't, hey, this could be real, this could be shit. But this guy here, he entered a part of the underground city, first century. He said it was dedicated to Mithras. Born on December 25th, died and resurrected 3 days later. 12 disciples. Sound familiar? Years before Jesus. Years before Jesus. And, somebody was talking about how, the modern day religion, like Mary Magdalene was Isis and Jesus was Osiris. Osiris was someone who died and 3 days later came back to life. Mithras was someone who died and 3 days later came back to life. So, again, there's no evidence of it. It could have just been that when he got killed, when he was crucified, they just adopted the story to him because his birthday wasn't on December 25th. At least the story in the Bible is he's there at the end of he's in there at the end of harvest or something like that. Not December 25th. I don't think they actually know when his birthday is anymore. Uh, Hang on. The early Catholic Church hijacked paganism, and that's true. That is, and it doesn't mean that's anything bad. But they much of what is accepted as Christian is pagan. Christmas Christmas, Jesus' birthday, these are all pagan things. And they went into a little more detail. If you want to watch it, watch it. You might have to write Tubi, and because I just do what you can if you're really interested, because they don't have this. At least I haven't seen it. It's like when you go there, they've got like maybe three fucking seasons of it, and there's like 7 seasons altogether. They did not have this one, I don't think. And I looked it up. If you have access to HBO or Max now, they had like 2 or 3 seasons. Tubi, I think, had 2 or 3 seasons. It was either Max or Prime had listed 3 seasons of it. None of them had this, and they're the only ones that I even know of. The other ones were on there. I don't know. I don't know anything about them, but they don't have this one. Uh, the early, yeah, but they did. They hijacked many pagan things. It's no difference than the Romans stealing the Greek gods. Um, if you look at the Roman gods and you look at the Greek gods, it's the Roman pantheon or the Greek pantheon. They just gave them all names. Instead of Mars, you got Mercury, and I can't remember what Aphrodite, but Aphrodite was renamed, and so on and so forth. Zeus became I can't. I'm more familiar with the Greek names, but they all got renamed, and so really, you make the leap of faith. Maybe that's what they did with Christian belief. I mean, I don't think I took this down as notes anywhere else, but this whole Christian thing, once it became adopted by the Romans, there's people, there's theories, there's people, there's rumors that Jesus didn't die. He had a kid, and after he was executed, Mary Magdalene and her daughter went to France. And when you look at the Greek, when you look at the way the Romans, this with the fall of Rome, because they were a world, they were like us, they were like a world empire. Like the U.S. Marines right now, they are the greatest special forces since the fall of the Roman Empire. You can maybe make a say, maybe say, maybe not, but they saw the people that led it, Caesar, or not Caesar, Mark Antony and Cleopatra, I think Caesar's kid. It was like a triumphy, and that failed. They started warring amongst themselves, and they saw that their shit was falling. And so they might have figured, just like they stole the Greek gods, well, they could steal Christianity and make it into something that wasn't. I firmly believe that this is at least a possibility, so that they can continue on. And there was things with this, like that one, the guy who wrote the last Pope prophecy. He came to visit the Vatican, and they were living a lifestyle that he was appalled by, and that's what triggered this fucking this prophecy, the Pope prophecy. And that to me sounds like, rules for thee but not for me. Kind of what you see with the modern day Republican Party. There's certain people in the Republican Party that feel the rules are for me or for you. They're not for me. And you have this dipshit now arguing that he's got the right to commit crimes. And really it's nothing new. Nixon he was doing an interview and he said, well, if the president does it, it's not illegal. Ha ha ha. And so that's where it started. But unlike now, when the tapes came out, when they found other things out, his own party, they sent someone to him that he kind of trusted, and they said, look, you're either going to need to leave or you're going to be prosecuted. And so he left. He just said, fuck that. Okay, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to meet anybody in the shower. And now no matter what, this guy, he goes out. And again, I don't consider this political. This is fucking national security. This is just fucking common decency. This guy goes out and tells Russia, "Well, do whatever you want." And his people, the fucking his little members of his cult in Congress, are like, when they're asked about it, the correct response is, yes, he's a piece of shit. We will not support him. I don't care if I lose my election. I don't care if the fucking MAGA crowds go vote for some fucking idiot. I don't care if a Democrat gets my seat. That's too far. I'm not doing that. No, they were all making up excuses for him. Lindsey Graham, others, even Nikki Haley, she kind of dressed him down for it, but she wouldn't say she wouldn't vote for him if he was the nominee. These people just don't care about our country. They're not loyal Americans anymore. I don't know what the hell they are, but they're not. And then this part, they went into the history of the church. Hitler's Pope. This one here, I remember hearing about it, but I didn't remember it until they started talking about it. Some Pope had a trial, and it was like a mummy or a corpse or something, and they put him on trial. They found him guilty, and then I think they fucking molested the body or something. There's a secret history of the church. Well, you can look at the Spanish Inquisition. And this here, now they didn't go into this. They didn't talk about the Spanish Inquisition. But I have heard before, it was on the History Channel, and I only heard it 1 year. And then it's like it vanished. The Vatican probably seized it up. But they did a thing, and I swear, and I was healthy back when this was going. This was before I started working at GM. But I swear they said that the church, indirectly or directly, they sent people to basically end these churches in North Africa that were dedicated to Mary Magdalene. And they had woman priests and everything. They went down and slaughtered them. They either directly or indirectly, either they directly hired and sent these mercenaries down there, or the equivalent of something like, well, can't somebody rid me of these fucking meddlesome bitches? And they went down and they killed them, probably raped them, and then they burned the churches. Uh, and but there's a lot of this history a lot of people don't realize, and they're going over exorcisms. Now, my understanding, and I'm not an expert, uh, they do investigation. The Vatican, they if they're going to get involved in a church, they just don't, or an exorcism, they don't, oh, you want an exorcism? $50, it's yours. Bam. And they do an investigation, and they look for other explanations. They view it as a last resort. It's why something should be left to the experts. I view DMT and other stuff the same. Some play with experts. Some of these religions, some of these upstart, I would call them cults. Uh, when I worked at GM, she was cute. Don't get me wrong. I gotta admit, she was cute. But one of the guys that worked, oh, you should ask her out, man. She's her boyfriend just broke up. She was on a different shift. And I go, you're kidding, right? He goes, no, what's wrong? She's real. I go, go talk to Mary. I go, she told Mary, this girl well, I shouldn't mention names, but Mary was cool to me. She she basically was doing Mary's job. I'm not giving any last names, and I think she retired or something like that. But she she was doing Mary's job on another shift, and I go ask Mary. I go, she's a fucking. I go, she basically told Mary when she found out Mary's daughter had some. I don't want to badmouth her. I don't mean anything by it, but she had let's call it a condition, and she told Mary, well, you should come to my church. We'll exercise her. And he looked at me and he goes, you're kidding. I go talk to Mary. And he went over, and the look on his face as she nodded and she kind of explained it to him. And he came back, and I told him, I go, I'm not joining a cult to get laid. I'm just not. I go, she could be the hot, which she wasn't. She could be the hottest fucking girl in the world. I go, I'm still not joining a cult to get laid. I mean, it's just not going to happen. Uh, and I consider a lot of this stuff. But I mean, again, and then this is pointed out in that movie. Again, I don't know how accurate it is, but like the Warrens have talked about it. The church sets a pretty high standard, and it's like I think they do the same thing when they go to make someone a saint. They want evidence. They would do a regular investigation. Uh, okay, now this guy is Roberto Calvi. He was found hung under a bridge. He was the head of the Vatican Bank. Why was he killed? Because of the mob or because of pagan reasons? We don't know. I mean, if they knew, I think if they honestly knew, they'd be arresting people and they'd be taking them in. It could have been because he was, he couldn't. It could have been because of the mob involvement with the bank, which I think is a real was a realistic thing. It might not be anymore, but it could have been because of pagan reasons. And uh, I'm nearing the end of the. There isn't that much, like maybe 10, 15 minutes. I'll finish it afterwards, but I'm getting ready to sign off now because I missed a few minutes of Deadline White House. I'm gonna watch that, but and the cats need to get fed. But they were talking about the history, the bank history, and they said previous popes were very unchristian like. They spend and spend and spend and don't question the bank. They just show up and they're, oh my God, there's all this money here for me. And one pope died shortly after becoming pope. It might have been when that guy was found hung under the bridge, but I think again it was Pope John Paul the First. It was just it was like it's like a month or less. It was a month or two or less. He was found dead, and it was like just mysterious. But they don't really. And again, they can't tell you what it is. But he did try to question the bank, and he was found dead shortly thereafter. The current pope is frugal, and I think he's a good man. I really think he's a good man, and like he's just not spending this money. Oh, I thought one of the cats was peeing. It was something in the other room. But one of the guests on the show talked about how Jesus was like that. Like this current pope. And he was just, they talked about him giving his money to the poor, living pretty a frugal life. He was born, he was a carpenter's son, he was a fisherman, and what, and then they brought this up in the Indiana Jones movie with Sean Connery, his dad. Everybody was looking for this gold cup and other thing. And then that one guy, Indy was in there. He's, oh, that's the cup of a carpenter. And the Knight Templar was like, good choice. And this is something that I always heard. And I was working with a lady, and she was a nice person. I wanna stress this out. She was an absolutely nice person. Um, uh, I pointed out that Jesus lives frugal, not like this these mega churches or whatever. He lived a frugal life. He threw the money change, and I mentioned that to her because she was a religious person. I'm a history person, and she said they lived in a way I never learned about. And she was oh no, they didn't live frugal, they lived the high life. I'm paraphrasing. And I'm like, man, I don't remember that, but I just considered the source. I've never met a born again person, a born again Christian, that was not a recovering drug or alcohol addict. And so they might not be the best one to take advice from on history or other things, but she was a really nice person. She was a really nice person, but she said stuff that, but again, this is the thing. Maybe it's what they got to do to keep them off the drugs. They tell them, oh, well, you come to Jesus. Jesus lived life and love, and he had all this money, and it wasn't true. But if it keeps them off drugs, hey, good for you. Uh, well, that's pretty much it. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I might be on tomorrow. I might be busy. I might, because I was gonna do it today, and I got done with the first with this one, and I had enough time. I could get it out. I didn't think I could make it through another video to take notes on, but maybe tomorrow I will try to do like a couple, get like 2 or 3 uh, videos watch and take notes on it, and then I can do like Thursday, Friday, and maybe have one for Monday ready to go. But peace out. I hope everybody has a good day. And oh, and if you write to your legislators, get legalized assisted suicide, get it legalized, and write your congressman in Washington and ask them to either get Chuck Schumer's amendment passed and the Republican that co-sponsored it, or get FOIA requests. Make them any company that gets grants or tax breaks or regulation cuts, anybody that gets any help from the U.S. government, make them susceptible to FOIA requests. And I think that because it really, if these and make it good for everything, it doesn't just cover because otherwise they'll play this game where you have to go to court to prove that the stuff you're asking for is part of the government. So just make them, if they get any of that stuff, it should open up their books. They can have stuff classified for national security reasons, but they have to black it out. It has to be court reviewable. But get it to where these FOIA requests are valid on anybody that's collecting things. And the other thing is maybe write them. This is something I'm not going to do very often, but I'm asking for one more. Elon Musk, the Ukraine intelligence, is saying that he's been letting Russia use his Starlink internet, and he seems to be letting them. If they can prove that he's letting them attack with it, any attacks linked to war crimes, Elon Musk and his company should be liable for. He basically cut off the internet for Ukraine, like when they got near Russia. They were going in with drones, and then all of a sudden those drones just fucking fell into the ocean, washed up on shore because he cut their internet. It was cut as soon as they entered this area. Well, it doesn't look like he's cut Russia's internet. And if he's letting them attack with his internet, he should be just as guilty as any other accessory during or after any other legal accessory of a crime. And he should be fucking held accountable. Peace out, and I hope everybody has a good day.